What's happening, guys? Safety Liner C2 here. So a couple weeks ago, I went out to Los Angeles just for a quick weekend trip. I had a great time, and I decided that I was gonna do a little bit of bus hunting while I was out there. While that was not the reason that I went out there, I just have to share with you a couple of the things that I found because these are really amazing finds in my opinion. So we drove out there. It was a little over 6 hours, so of course I saw some buses on the way there. I think the most interesting thing going there was this converted FS65. Clearly this is an old California bus. We can see yellow rims on there. It doesn't appear that there was ever a stop sign up front, but you can see that someone just cut it up, made it a little bit shorter so that they could tow with it. So on the way in, I decided that we were going to make a quick 5-minute detour to potentially see something in Alta Loma School District's bus yard. Maybe you're familiar with the name, maybe not, but that is the home of the one and only TC1000 RE that was ever made. I've talked more about the TC1000 RE in my video about the TC2000, but essentially it was just prototype or a concept vehicle or a special order. We don't really know because Bluebird never really threw any information out there about it, but the only one that was ever made went to Alta Loma. Now the problem with going to that lot is that it was not guaranteed to be there because the last sighting of the bus was back in 2021. Despite that, I was still going to try just because I've been wanting to see that bus for years, and every time I made it out to California, I just never thought to go there. But thankfully, as soon as we passed by right in front of the yard, I looked over and I could see it there. I immediately knew that was the bus because it's so hard not to see it. So I parked. There's a trail that lines up right next to the bus yard, and I started walking where I took this picture. I mean, you can very clearly tell that this is the TC1000 RE. First off, we know that it has G2 warning lights, and those are clearly on there. Second off, it just has that D3 design to it. It's very boxy while also being rounded. And we also do know that that is the license plate that is attached to the TC1000 RE. Now from the back, it doesn't really look like anything special. It just kind of looks like any other Bluebird. I went up a little bit further and took this picture, and taking this picture felt so surreal because the lack of pictures of this bus over many years, and just this one being the only one out there, and now I have pictures of it. It was such a cool feeling. Again, you can very clearly see the inspirations that the D3 drew from this bus. And if you take a look at the roof hatches, you'll see that both of them are open. This picture was taken on a Friday around 5 o'clock, and while school might have been out for a little bit, I think it's pretty obvious that this bus is still being used because obviously they want airflow through it, and that they don't just want to step onto a hot bus. I mean, who does? And because that bus is powered by CNG and not diesel, I think that that bus still has a good amount of time left. I think that that is probably right near the top of my highlights of bus photography because that's just such a rare bus. I'm so happy that I ended up going, and, you know, even if it wasn't there, it would have been cool to see, you know, where it was at one point. But I'm just so happy that it was there and that it still looks like it's being used. Now, the next place I wanted to go was to one of LAUSD's bus yards. You know, say what you will about California spec or specifically LAUSD, whatever. You've got to admit that LAUSD will buy just about anything that they can get their hands on. Now, specifically, I wanted to find this bus, the StarCraft Quest XL, which is seen here at their San Julian lot. The reason I chose that bus is because there's not a whole lot of sightings of it, and I wanted to at least document it a little bit while it was still around. As I approached the yard, these were the first two buses I saw, an A3 RE and an HDX. Nothing too special there. Going up the road a little bit, I saw these two electric T3s next to a Super Coach, and even though that Super Coach is clearly not being used as a school bus, it's still so cool to see a Super in one of LAUSD's bus slots. While I can't confirm it for sure, I would place a lot of money on LAUSD being Crown's biggest customer, and with all of the Supers virtually gone, seeing this was just so cool to me. While that is pretty cool, that was not the highlight, and I kept looking for that StarCraft Quest XL but came up empty-handed. but I found something so much better than that. So this right here is not only one of the first pictures of the Lion D, but it is also one of the first Lion Ds that were made. Seeing this was probably the biggest shock because I was not expecting to see that at all. I remember there was an article a little while back talking about how some districts in California had ordered the Lion D, and while I don't specifically remember if LAUSD was on that list or not, I guess I was kind of expecting them to get those just because, again, they get everything and they're working on electrifying their fleet. Unfortunately, this is the best angle I could get of the bus. Every other angle just blocked it. This is a really sharp Type D in my opinion. I would love to start seeing more of these pop up around the country and would really enjoy checking out one of these up close. The other highlight of that yard I was expecting to see, and a little bit of the reason I went there, but mainly the StarCraft Quest XL, was these Transtech Chevys. Now, I was expecting to see these. I think that lot specifically has the most amount of those, and I had just never really seen one up close, so I wanted to. You can occasionally find these across the country, and it wasn't something that I was like dying to see. And that brings us to the third place I wanted to go, Creative Bus Sales, one of the IC dealerships. I had to see the 3rd Gen CE. Now this is another one where, maybe it's there, maybe it's out of the district, maybe it's in their back lot, whatever. I'm just kind of taking a gamble here. But as we pulled up, I could see a couple CEs sitting out front, and of course they were facing the opposite way, so I couldn't tell if they were 2nd or 3rd gens. But as I pulled around to the side, they were clearly 3rd gens. Now, as far as I know, this is the very first sighting, or at least picture, that has been made public of a California 3rd gen, this one specifically owned by Zoom. Now, unfortunately, these were parked right in front of a gate, and there were very clearly employees working there, so I wasn't going to go do anything. But like 95% of the bus has remained the same. It's just really the front that has changed. Now in this picture, you can kind of see that the hood angles down more, not necessarily as much as a vision, but I think that is going to definitely improve visibility. It also looks like the hood is smaller, and with the windshield being pushed out a little further, if you will, I can definitely see the C2 vibes there. Another thing I saw in the lot were these StarCraft Internationals. I don't know what to say. I don't know if these have been spotted before, but there's 3 of them right there. So yeah, I just had to share these because TC1000RE, a Lion D, 3rd Gen CE. I mean, how can I not? I'm going to have to go back and do an actual bus hunting trip in Los Angeles at some point, because if I found that over a course of 3 days, then who knows what else is out there. Anyways, I'll wrap it up there. Thank you so much for watching. I always do appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe right down here. It's a magical white button that says you are now subscribed to Safety Liner C2. Make sure you comment up here, down here, over here, or over here. I don't know where they put it, down here where they put it. Make sure you also give this video a thumbs up, or we're not going to see any Lion Ds across the country. And make sure you also share this video with a friend. Show it to your mom, show it to your dad, show it to a guy on a random street. I don't care. Don't let anything happen to you. So yeah, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching.